I found this side table on the side of the road, and it looked like it belonged on the side of the road. It was broken, scratched, it had tons of character, and still to this day, I can't figure out if it's an old desk table for a children's desk or just a side table. But anyways, I sanded off the old finish on the top to reveal the top wood, and I got my favorite workbench, this dolly. I am obsessed with this dolly because you can work on it and you can use it to move things. It's great. Then I went to my scrap wood pile and I got these squiggly bits. This is actually used for roofing. And I cut them down with my miter saw and I attached them with my nailer underneath to add a really cool design and texture, which I absolutely loved. Next, I cleaned everything down with white lightning. This is a TSP cleaner, which really gets away that grease and grime. And gosh knows what else has been on this thing because it was on the side of the road for a while. I gave the whole thing a really good wipe down, and this is what also preps it for painting, so your paint and primer will stick to it. For the color, I chose Umber. This is a gorgeous, rich, dark brown, and this also has a built-in primer and a top coat, so it's pretty much a one-step paint and makes the whole flip process a lot easier. For the top, I use Bonding Boss because I had a really fun idea for this, and what Bonding Boss is, it's an adhesion primer. So I paint this on top of the wood, and this allows me to be super extra sure that my paint will stick to the top of this wood. I gave it a good sand down, and I did another coat on top to make sure it was nice and smooth. And when it was all dry and complete, I added on the marbling. Now to do my marbling technique, I just use a really small paintbrush and a couple different shades of brown, and I brush it on, I mist it with water, and I dabble it away, and it creates the perfect faux marble veins. You can have so much fun doing this too. Next up is the fun part. This is the epoxy top coat. So this is what I'm going to mix up and pour on top to make sure that that table has a really great faux marble effect. Now, when you're mixing epoxy, it's all equal parts. You mix equal parts A and equal parts B into this container that I have here. And all I'm doing is measuring the container and marking out the direct center of it. So I know that I have to pour half of part A and half of part B. I'm gonna give it a really good mix up, and this is what I'm gonna pour on top. So I should be wearing goggles, so do not come at me. I just could not find my goggles when I was doing this, but please do wear your safety gear. And you're gonna mix it very, very, very well together because you have to make sure that both parts are fully mixed. That way it hardens and dries. Then you'll get this little, I guess it's called like a spreading tool that I use. And you're gonna prep the area for pouring the epoxy on top. So I had this on top of a plastic hard lid and I put paper towels around because it does get messy, folks. So what you do, okay, is you mix it up and you pour it on top just like this. There's no rhyme or reason to doing it the right way. You just want to make sure it's fully covered. And this is called your flood coat. Once you get all the epoxy on there, you do have to work a little bit fast. You're going to use your spreader tool and gently spread it over across the entire surface of this piece. Now this epoxy is self-leveling, so do not worry if it looks a little bit uneven, but you do want to pour some more epoxy into areas that might look lower than others, just so it spreads out itself a lot easier. You do want it to drip across the edges, so it does pour over the edges and cover those as well. And then you're gonna hit it with a heat gun, and this is what's gonna get those air bubbles out. This is gonna heat it up, it's gonna come to the surface, and you're going to have a very glossy, very glass, smooth finish. If you do see a couple air bubbles, hit it with the heat gun again, and then when it fully dries, you won't even notice them at all. This stuff dries rock hard, and as you can see, there's the before, and this is the after of this side table. It's so cool to find something off the side of the road that is my favorite price, which is free $99, and turn into something that you use every day. What do y'all think? I love it.